Okay, thank you. And let me welcome you to the 2020 UPS George Smith Prize competition. I'm Rob Dell. I had the honor of being the chair for this year's prize committee. And I'm going to start with congratulations to your team on behalf of all of the judges. Being selected as a finalist for this prize is an honor few programs have achieved. This prize is named in honor of the late UPS Chief Executive Officer, who was a champion of operations research. The UPS George D. Smith Prize, it was created in the spirit of strengthening ties between industry and the schools of higher education that graduate practitioners of operations research. The prize recognizes effective and innovative preparation of students to be practitioners of operations research or analytics. Let me introduce the judging team that has the difficult task of selecting a winner from our three outstanding finalists. We have Hai Chu from Disney, Jill Harding-Wilson from Northwestern University, Harish Krishna from the University of British Columbia, Rena Schinner was our past chair, Andy Wasser, Carnegie Mellon University, and Henning Yu from Amazon. I have to thank our sponsor. Without UPS, this prize would not be possible, and I'm excited that UPS executives are on the call today hearing the prize presentations. And with that, I will turn it over to your team and with my thanks.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Pelin Pekun. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Management Science at the University of South Carolina. We're honored to have been selected as one of the finalists for the UPS George Smith Prize. Thank you very much. We would like to thank both Informs and the judges very much for this wonderful recognition for this prestigious prize. So today we're going to describe our operations and supply chain program and how we train students to be good practitioners of operations research and analytics. Before we start our presentation, I would like to introduce our team. Let me show you actually this slide where you can attach the faces to the names. We're proud to have a quite fairly large team today with me. So I have two fellow faculty members, Dr. Sanjay Ahire, who is a professor in our department, as well as he's a co-director of our Operations Supply Chain Center. Professor Mark Ferguson is our department chair. I'm delighted to have several of our alumni with us here today. So Brian Haynes is currently at Facebook, Cameron Johnson currently at IBM, Bora Kim currently at Google, Michael Brusnicek currently at Southwest Airlines, and Catherine Korasaniti, who is transitioning into Boston Consulting Group, who wanted to be here, but I believe due to critical circumstances she couldn't join. And Ruhi Pitra is our current student who is graduating this semester, and I'm delighted also to introduce Mr. Todd Wyman, who is one of our industry partners from our Operations Supply Chain Center. Mr. Wyman is a Senior Vice President at Ingersoll Rand. I have to mention that it's only three of us here today representing our group, but this is actually what we are going to describe is thanks to the works of a much larger group, 28 faculty members, so at least we can have them with their pictures here with us today. And we're proud to have our faculty combining not only their academic experiences, but also industry experiences from various sectors, including manufacturing, healthcare, and quite a bit of consulting experience. Faculty members have won teaching awards. Dr. Ahire recently won the Informs Teaching for MS Practice Award. We have faculty members finalists in the Edelman Award and Wagner Prize. And also in terms of academic scholarship, I'm proud to say that we are ranked number 13 in the number of operations management publications in the UT Dallas list of journals from 2016 to 2019, actually number 6 in 2019. Not very common, but we also have professional certifications. For example, Dr. Ahire is our team's Six Sigma Master Black Belt. So here's a quick plan of our presentation. I'm going to describe briefly our model of academic industry collaborations, and then I'll turn it over to our department chair, Dr. Ferguson, to talk about our program as well as the complementary business analytics concentration. And then Dr. Ahire will describe the core of our training for our students, which is the capstone consulting projects that we do through our center. So here's a quick overview of our model of academic industry collaboration. We are training expert users of analytics. So our major that our department offers is operations and supply chain. So we offer students domain knowledge through various courses, as well as analytical skills, that's the tools and skill sets that they can use. But it all matters. The most important part of it is that being able to apply those that knowledge and the skill sets in being able to solve problems, real life problems in practice. And that happens through the capstone consulting projects, through our partnerships with company partners in our operations and supply chain center. And something very unique to our program is also that through this capstone, completing those capstone projects, our students also get certified in Lean Six Sigma. And I should also mention that very complementary to this whole curriculum is business analytics concentration, which now improves school-wide undergraduate and graduate curriculum. Before I turn it over to Dr. Ferguson, I would like to also mention just briefly about our triad. So on this is a triangle. On one end, we have our faculty expert who can teach and do. On the other end, and we have our partner firms, corporate sponsors who represent a diversified set of industries with a global footprint. And our true north are our students, both at the undergraduate and graduate level. With this, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Ferguson to talk about our program.
Excel courses, the statistics courses, a core OM course, but we didn't really have a major of our own. And at that time, we decided we wanted to, provide operations supply chain training for some of the students that came through, with a focus on both the operational and process improvement and also global supply chains. And we kind of view this with a very broad lens, which includes service operations. And a lot of our students end up going into consulting and large multinational companies. So our programs at a glance, we're a comprehensive department. We teach undergraduate, graduate, and PhD. The MBA, we only have a concentration of operations and supply chain. So that's a portion of the total MBA students that come out. Our PhD, we have about 2 students a year that graduate, and nice placement record for that. 100% of our graduates over the last 9 years have gotten into academic positions. But what I really think kind of sets us apart and kind of where our largest impact is at the undergraduate level. So we've become the 2nd largest major in the entire business school. And we also play a major role in the school's effort in the business analytics concentration. So as I mentioned before, we didn't always have our own major. We started back 2008, and we've had phenomenal growth with this, over 600% in terms of number of students enrolled. We're now the 2nd largest in the school. So faculty has grown as well, from 17 full-time faculty to about 28. We've had various success in the rankings, especially the Gartner rankings for best supply chain programs over the years. We've had multiple Gene Richter Award winners for best supply chain students in the country. A lot of great news and placements and all, which we'll share more details with you later. But the real gist I hope you take from this is just, we basically came from ground zero just a little over 10 years ago to being one of the largest producers of operations supply chain students in the country today. Our curriculum, which we've kind of had, sorry, should have started my video too so you could actually see me. Our curriculum, which has been there since the beginning. You know, you can see we cover classes on supply chain, which you expect, business process management and improvement, but also service operations, supply chain planning and control. And we've since grown this into adding some newer electives, which are down in the bottom, such as innovation and design, project management, sports analytics. But we haven't abandoned our support role, so I do want to talk over a few slides of that. In fact, our departments play the major role for the college in pushing all our undergraduates to become more analytics savvy, if you will. And this takes place at multiple levels, at the undergraduate business analytics concentration level, at the graduate level for the business analytics certificate, even the executive education level. Supporting all of this is something our group created called a data lab, where students can go when they need help with their analytics problems. And we staff this actually with students who have already taken classes and kind of excelled in the business analytics areas. And we'll hear from one of them in a second. We also host hackathons throughout the years, kind of introduce students to challenging data analytics projects. And this concentration has really grown. This is the undergraduate concentration. It started back in 2016. This is available to all the business students, not just the ones in our major. We teach every single student that comes to the Darla Moore School of Business. We teach them R, we teach them advanced Excel. For those that choose, they can pursue this optional concentration where they learn things like relational databases and data visualization and such. And they will still specialize in a functional area like finance or marketing or supply chain, but they take the analytics classes to supplement that to make them more valuable when they do leave. So with this, I'm actually going to invite one of our current students who works in our data lab to speak about it. Ruhi, would you like to join?
Yeah, hi. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, so kind of going through the business analytics coursework at the Moore School has definitely helped in terms of overcoming that anxiety you get when you get messy, large, or different types of data. And so throughout this coursework, I've gotten the chance to be exposed to different types of tools and software that have helped me manipulate, analyze, and present different types of data. And so beyond the R, Excel, Power BI that I've been exposed to in my coursework, this has kind of led me to seek out online learning and other things to learn, Python, Minitab, and things like that. And the knowledge I've gotten throughout this coursework has applications kind of throughout my undergraduate experience. So in my internship in Dublin, I was able to create a predictive demand forecasting model for a hotel company for their equipment for new properties. And more recently in my capstone project, where we had 8 million rows of shipment data from UPS, and using R and Power BI, we were able to develop customer lifetime value models for different types of customers in UPS using techniques like linear regression, logistic regression, and ANOVA. Yeah.
Thank you. So we also have a certificate in business analytics at the graduate level where we do something similar. We created this one back in 2014, and it's been incredibly successful now, with over 90% of our full-time MBA students actually choose to do this optional certificate, even though it requires an additional 3 courses besides what they would normally have to take. The hackathons, I'm just showing one slide here, but we do multiple of these a year. This is another opportunity we get or provide for our students to work with companies on real data sets. just in terms of growth, on the right is the graduate numbers. You kind of see back in 2014, we started with about 57. We're up to about 146 now, but this represents the vast majority of our MBA students who are pursuing it. On the left is the undergraduate numbers. You know, this went from 50 to about 400, over 400 in just the last 4 years. So incredible growth here, incredible enthusiasm from our students. Executive education. This has also been very successful programs that our department teaches the vast majority of these classes. So we go from anywhere from a 1 week long boot camp, if you're kind of new to analytics, to a 4 week, very intensive executive education offering that's for the more advanced business analytics training, and those students actually get the certificate that pursue it. And then what we found was, you know, people were going back to their organizations with this great analytics knowledge, but it wasn't always being utilized to the best level. So we created a 2-day course for senior leaders, you know, so that they would know enough about analytics and its capabilities, you know, to take advantage of their employees that were going through these other programs. Oops. Actually, one of our largest customers for these programs has been the U.S. Army. So this has been a really rewarding experience, you know, for those of us that have taught in this. It's typically Army officers that are, you know, their job entails giving the financial updates to their commanders. And after going through our analytics program, they go from presenting, you know, static PowerPoint slides where they can't really answer questions about the budget on the fly, to presenting visual dashboards with exactly what the commanders need and the ability to drill down and answer questions right there during the briefings. So, you know, we've done over 8 of these programs, these 4 week programs over the last 3 years. But all of this is kind of in our support role. Our main role is really teaching those operations supply chain graduates or the ones pursuing that undergraduate major. So with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Ahiri.
Thank you, Mark. I'm going to share my screen here.
Yep.
Okay. So I am going to talk about the experiential learning component of our program. That is the core value proposition of the operations and supply chain program that we are presenting. And so I'll be talking about the center and its activities, mainly the projects that we do through the capstone classes, and the rigor that is entailed in those projects, and the outcomes, both for the strategic partners that we work with, as well as even more importantly and centrally importantly, our students. So this is one of those board meetings and summits that we had some time ago, and this is the picture of the board members. So over the course of last 11, 12 years, we have worked with 40 center partners. And this is actually a very entrepreneurial model. You know, we were not given a bucket of money by the school's administration or the university's administration to go and you know, create this center. We individually on our own went out and gathered the support, funded support of the partners. And so to date, about $7.4 million in annual memberships. So you see that the list of these center members that we have worked with really has some very big names, but all of them are equally important to us. So you see BMW, Collins Aerospace, Coca-Cola, you have Johnson & Johnson, Delta Airlines, Siemens, Walmart. So it has crisscrossed all the sectors of the economy. The most important thing that we do through the center is these capstone consulting projects that involve the students and the center partners and the faculty members. And as we always say, it takes three to tango. In this case, very sharp, but also very focused and dedicated students. Center partners who are looking at this collaboration not just as some quick projects and savings from those projects, though that is very important, and there are substantial savings that we have generated. But they are here in this partnership because there's this mission of transforming young minds into leaders of tomorrow. And then of course the faculty members, we're blessed with a set of faculty members that as Dr. Pagan said, can not only teach, but also do. The projects that we select are the most important, what I'll say, prerequisite to the success of this initiative. And so these projects have come from the strategic partners on basis of front burner and real business need. We do this on a semester basis, fall and spring. About 1,000 person hours of the students and plus maybe about 75 to 100 hours of faculty experts mentoring. And of course, the clients have to provide their own team for the on-site visits and data coordination and so on. And we have done these projects across all the domains of operations and supply chain, internal operations, sourcing, logistics, distribution, but also service operations management and business process implements. And these projects are sometimes they are site specific, sometimes they are corporate level system wide. The approach that we have used for solving these problems and providing the opportunity for the students to go out and solve these problems is the problem solving approach from Lean Six Sigma, DMAIC or DMADV. While we have selected this as an approach because of the 3 months deadline, and this approach helps us to be focused and our teams of students to be really professional about how they are working on the projects. We have adapted the approach to doing more data-based and analytics-based projects as we have transformed into a combination of site-specific projects, but also corporate-level projects. The key here in this slide is that while we obtain pre-proposals from the clients before the semester, it is the students that drive the entire project from day one. And as our students will talk about it later on, they will share with you some of their experiences of working on these projects. 2 key deliverables, midterm and final presentation. In keeping with the DMADV approach, we actually weave in different types of analytical tools and techniques. I think we have best of both worlds. The disciplined approach of Lean and Six Sigma that actually helps us to be looking out for the business value of the process improvement projects and decision-making projects. But we don't limit ourselves, or our teams don't limit ourselves to just the classic Lean Six Sigma tools and techniques. We actually cross over into our operations research and management science techniques and tools and advanced data analytics to really provide more than the expected value on these projects to the companies. And again, as I said, students are the ones who actually drive the decisions regarding every step of the way, and the faculty members serve as backup mentors. Different types of project software in keeping with the theme of this award. Not just limiting ourselves to office-based access, solver, and those types of things, but also optimization packages. You have geographical positioning, information systems packages, simulation, then you have R, Tableau, visualization, Power BI, and so on. The reason why the projects are successful within 3 months is the fact that we provide a lot of support to the students in terms of some best practices that they are encouraged to follow. So consistent client interaction is one of them. And so the students actually set up the plan for the project, and they will set up the schedule for weekly conference calls, on-site visits, video conference calls, and so on. Towards the end, Kaizen implementations, but also handoff material and actual user manuals and training. And then formal presentations, of course, and sustain plans for these processes to be sustained in the future. The other key aspects of support are, we have a 78-page how-to project manual. This is completely homegrown that actually encourages students to follow best practices of doing these projects right from attires and etiquettes and setting up the calls and collecting data and so on. Deliverables, midterm final deliverables, but also concrete deliverables such as Excel and R-based models or optimization simulation models, standard operating procedures, and actual training and handoff sessions. Our projects, the students are expected to produce detailed cost benefit validation with stakeholders because that's one of the key metrics for evaluating them for Six Sigma certification. And we do have every semester showcasing of the outcomes, and Dr. Pagan will show you a video of that. The RIGOR, I'm going to skip through some of these slides. The details are in the packet, but just to illustrate some of the elements of RIGOR. We have done projects in all different domains of supply chain and operations, as I said, in all of these different partner firms. The data and the process insights methods. So we don't start with the data. We don't start with a data set. We start with the process improvement goals. And this is, as I said, driven by the students who end up refining or redefining the scope of the project based on the pre-proposals. And then once we have understood the scope and mapped out the processes, then we talk about the data needs and go back, and the students will ask for secondary data, or they will go and collect the data, or in some cases, subject matter experts are interviewed. And about the data scale, if you will, these are examples: 14 million shipments from UPS for lifetime value models, customer lifetime value models, 7 million records of potential subscribers from Colonial Life for estimating their probability of subscribers coming on board using predictor variables, and so on. Some ORMS analytics that are used, as I said, Colonial Life, logistic regression, Eaton Electrical, copper demand forecasting using attribute-based forecasting. You have Walmart, Sunoco, transportation optimization. PricewaterhouseCoopers, global workforce allocation across different continents using integer programming. And you have, Harvester Food Bank, outreach optimization using integer. These are some of the pictures of the work on the projects. And outcomes of these projects, tremendous outcomes for the partner firms as well as for the students. So I'm going to have Mr. Todd Wyman talk about the outcomes. So I'm stopping the share.
Great. Hopefully you can hear me. First, it's an honor to represent my other peers and partner firms today and pitching this with the professors and the students. I've had the pleasure of working with this team for almost over a decade now, and I've been able to watch the maturity and growth of this program, which has been amazing. The capstone projects are outstanding. We've had a couple a year now for over a decade. Our current one is in the remote monitoring space in compressors for Ingersoll Rand. And the students are working with us on analyzing that data to write rules for preventive maintenance and predictive maintenance. And I've been so impressed that I've actually influenced my youngest daughter, and she is about a week away from graduating from the business school at the University of South Carolina as an out-of-state, very expensive option. But this has been a outstanding experience for myself in watching these students, and it's thoroughly impressed with the students and faculty here. Incredible.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, so we are now moving on to the next part of the presentation, and this slide just talks about the total number of projects that we have done, to 280 plus, with $275 million in savings, and these fall across all different types of improvements that these students are able to do. So industry summits actually provide a showcasing of the outcomes of these projects and the accomplishments for the students. And this is a semi-annual event. About 200 plus attendees from partner firms, potential center partners, employers, government agencies join us in this celebration. So it is all about the students again. The first session is about the client sponsors coming and talking about the projects that were done and the methods and the outcomes and the value of these projects for themselves. So each sponsor actually talks about their project. The second session is a 2-hour poster board session where the students showcase their projects using poster boards, and audience or the attendees move around and are explained the outcomes of the projects by the students. And then we have the advisory board meetings where we award the best students each year or each semester. These are some of the pictures from the advisory board meeting. Now at this stage, I'm going to ask Dr. Pagan to take over and show the video.
We decided to partner with Moore School because it allows us to engage with our community, engage with academic groups, as well as be able to provide new views and solutions to problems within UPS.
Able to identify some areas we could easily improve. We worked on internal patient flow, specifically within the transfer center, so internal inbound patients and then bed assignments once they're inside the hospital.
They had a different way of analyzing the data that we produce every day, which gives us a fresh sense of what's really happening in our own backyard.
It was really cool to see an impact and just be on the floor and shadowing people and seeing your work have a purpose.
And I think the whole hospital will actually benefit from this model.
We provided UPS with actionable insights from our customer lifetime value analysis and models and recommendations to implement those models.
So it's really a collaborative effort between our team at UPS and the students at Moore.
I feel like we've all kind of been able to bond through like the long hours that we've worked and throughout the experience, which has made it rewarding and fun.
We're looking at 8 potential options that were presented to determine which is the best one for us to potentially deploy within the United States.
That was a great way to see how you work with another business and figure out what they want so that you can provide what they need. So I think that that's a unique experience that the Moore School provides.
I've talked to a lot of people who have done it with their work and they have to do it on the side. And this is really cool because it's built into our course load. So we get to do it while we're here with our mentors and they get to work with us doing it.
I got invited to participate in the last summit here. I was so impressed. Exactly on this room just behind me, I saw the quality of the students, I saw the quality of the companies that were working with the school, and I saw the quality of the projects.
We learn all this stuff in class, of the different process improvements, different Excel tools, so it's kind of really cool to actually use in a real world scenario.
So it was just natural for us to establish this partnership here. We were looking for a school that could provide us the access to the innovation that the USC is providing to us right now.
Okay, with this, I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Ahira. You can share again your screen.
So here is where I'm going to actually ask, our students to start talking about the benefits to them. The first one is Sunoco USC Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification. So I'm going to have Brian talk about the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification. And Brian, you can unmute and talk about it.
Yes, hello everyone. This is Brian Haynes. I'm a graduate of the Operations and Supply Chain Program year of 2013, currently working with Facebook. To dive into the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification, I'm proud to consider myself one of the over 1,200 graduates who have been awarded this Green Belt. Not only because of what I learned along the journey, which we'll talk about in terms of the phases that you see presented on the screen, but also because of how it helped me distinguish myself in my professional career track. I noticed as I entered my first position out of University of South Carolina with Bank of America, I was the only one of my peer group in a leadership development program focused on supply chain management to already have a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. And at the time of my first assignment, my manager was working on her Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification, which equipped me with a way to deliver value to my team and also build a very strong relationship right away. To dive into the phases of our program here, I think what we'll really call attention to here is the journey that a student takes as they pursue the certification. It begins in the classroom, learning some of the analytical tools, techniques, and concepts that have been described throughout this presentation, where students work hands-on with professors, analyzing use cases, and really learning some of the foundational elements that drive the certification forward. Then we'll focus on industrial training, which are modules produced specifically with focus on the Green Belt certification with help from Sunoco Products Company, which supplements the academic program we work with in the classroom. And that moves us into what I consider to be the most valuable component of the Green Belt certification program, which was the consulting project. In the context of the consulting project, I personally worked with Cummins Turbo Technologies out of Charleston, South Carolina, where I was in person at a production facility for the first time in my life, learning what it means to approach business problems and optimization problems hands-on with a core industry group. Dr. Hire, who was my leader for the project at the time, helped set the team up for success by introducing us, enabling a strong relationship that then the students could drive forward throughout the project with an eye on what is the criteria for success from the perspective of our customer. And that's where I really helped develop a skill set that I could put to use right away in industry. After the consulting project, we see phases 4 and 5, which is really where we test the competencies that we've developed over the course of the consulting project. We went through a body of knowledge evaluation, which was a formal examination that was a requirement in order to attain the certification. And then finally, as we moved into our presentations at the industry summit, demonstrating the results and outcomes that have been achieved, we were also evaluated by industry leaders and members of the industry forum who would certify that we had indeed delivered the results that were worthy of a certification. So with all of that, I think the phases of this program and the certification that we achieved really just, not only highlighted how this program goes above and beyond just classroom training, but also how it positioned me personally for success in my first career. And with that, I will turn back over to Dr. Hire.
I'm going to have Michael and Cameron talk about the benefits to students slide here.
Thanks, Dr. Hire. This is Michael Rasnazik. I am a 2015 graduate of the OSC program. And I can say, as an alumni, just looking at the outcomes of the program and everything that goes into it, from the foundational knowledge, the problem-solving frameworks, and the experiences that you go throughout the program, and how that has been instrumental in my career. I've used all of the tools and frameworks in both companies I've worked at post-graduation. Currently at Southwest Airlines, I manage a team of analysts as well as drive forward my own analytical projects as an individual contributor. And the learnings from this program have been instrumental in my career growth and being able to teach others. And two such projects that I've been able to work on and have had the confidence of working on at Southwest are one, leading our annual fuel bid, which is the largest RFP at Southwest, as well as leading a Lean Six Sigma project myself around our fuel forecasting. And essentially now we have a fuel forecast model that's based off of a historical data set and pattern recognition rather than heuristics. And so I can say, just going through the program and looking back at my career post-graduation, just how instrumental the teachings from the talented faculty have been for my own career development, and then that of which I've been able to help my own team and inspire others at the companies I've been at. And so I'm forever grateful, for the program and the experience I gained.
So what about Cameron?
Yeah, so hey everyone, my name is Cameron Johnson. I'm in a client-facing role as a consultant at IBM, and the Capstone experience also prepared me with a lot of soft skills kind of required when interacting with those clients. So one of the things that the OSC program focuses on is the art of being able to assume a variety of different roles throughout an engagement by putting yourself in the shoes of clients, executives, and your teammates. And I was able to quickly draw a lot of connections from the Lean Six Sigma tools that we learned in the OSC program and apply similar tools across agile and design thinking methodologies, which are used to iterate across the software development lifecycle. So I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to work on a project to implement a proprietary predictive modeling platform that leveraged geographic and historical data points to streamline property underwriting. And I've been involved in business requirements, user testing, and project management activities. And I always try to approach each role with a problem-solving framework that is used throughout the OSC curriculum.
Thank you, Michael. So we have, this is the UOFSC-OSC employers, and it actually reads who's who of Fortune 500 in top consulting firms, manufacturing firms, high-tech employers, and top retail and service employers. We have our alumni here, that are from some of these firms. Placement rate of 95% for the current class, and our program is one of the highest compensated supply chain programs in North America. So at this stage, I would like to ask Bora to actually tell us what she's doing with her career at Google. And then Brian, we will skip yours to the questions and answers. Bora?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, my name is Bora Kim, 2014 graduate from the OSC program. I'm currently working as a program manager for supply chain transformations at Google in Cloud Technical Infrastructure Group. I mainly initiate and lead top programs to streamline, standardize, and transform the end-to-end supply chain landscape to support our rapidly growing infrastructure worldwide for cloud. As I graduated from the OSC program, I started my career as part of a supply chain leadership rotational program at Schneider Electric, working in various roles across supply chain, very much hands-on in the warehouse as well as manufacturing facility. The Capstone project experience has tremendously helped me throughout my career, particularly in how I look at a problem set and approach them in a systematic manner to break them down into more manageable components and eventually reach a clear, actionable solutions. Plus, I've gained the passion for process improvement and has led the career path in driving improvement initiatives. As an example, one of our business units when I was working at Schneider was experiencing a year-over-year loss in market share for several years. The business has implemented different solutions in the past, but they weren't really successful. And I ended up volunteering for the project to help out. And this was 2 years out of graduating from the OSC program. And I thought it would be an interesting challenge to solve with a big business impact. And I ended up using the same exact tools that I used during the Capstone project, including DMAIC and Lean Six Sigma methodology. And I even pulled out the final team slides that we presented to use it as a reference in order to structure the problem and eventually to launch different Kaizen improvements, which actually led to a substantial regaining of their market share. Thank you.
Thank you. So we move into the last phase of this presentation, and I'll make it quick. I know we are running out of time. In order to make sure that we understood the career advancement of our graduates, we conducted a survey of all of our graduation cohorts, and this was done by cell phone over the last 2-3 weeks. We asked 3 questions: base plus bonus plus stock for current compensation, year 1 compensation for first full-time career, and year 3 compensation. And we sent out to 446 alumni. We got a whopping response of 76% response rate, and the alumni were actually thankful for us to reach out and remember them. So this actually talks about the main conclusion of our survey. The current total compensation, you can see that it is pretty impressive. Highest $800,000. 22 of the respondents making $200,000 or more. And then if you talk about 3-year cohort, last 3-year cohort, about of 157, 20% have gone on to earn more than 100K. If you talk about 5-year cohort, 35% have gone on to make more than 100K. And out of those 77, 70 did not have graduate degrees. Some other statistics, about 60 of the students, almost 20%, were actually making more than 150K. The first year compensation, highest has been for 2019 graduates, for highest of 120 and average of 82. And the highest ever has been 130K for 2017 grad and average of 82 for 2019. And finally, in the initial phases of the career from year 1 to year 3, it's pure value of the program. 60% of the respondents increase their compensation by about 21 to 40% within 3 years. And another 8% from 41 to 100%. About 1% actually doubled their salary in 3 years. So these are all pretty concrete evidences of the value of the experiential learning that these students are getting from the capstone. The survey was focused on the alumni that did the capstone projects. So bringing it all together, 3 legs of the stool, benefiting students and employers. And this is a summary of our project, of our application for your review, and that completes our presentation.